fabulous. Hey, Jessica. Hi.
Hi, love. Let me push this back a little bit. I feel close.
Girl, yeah, you know what? I know I had to push it back too because it was cut off my head whenever I do the two screens.
Yeah.
Ada's on here, Dia's on here, we got fans supporting us.
Yes. Oh, I love it. It's a family reunion.
Yes, yes. Girl, you know what? I was gonna try something different and rock a hat to something. I was like, you know what? I know she always rocks a hat.
You look gorgeous though. The blouse is like, I love anything with a bow.
Thank you.
You look good. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Asia says, hey, Tori.
Hey.
So let me tell you this. You know that I am not, look, you guys, look, it's a tea day for me too. Girl.
Cheers. Because we get ready to drop that tea, right?
We about to drop that tea. And it's been one of those days, trust me, where I need my cup of tea. It's been one of them days.
I know. Yes.
Yes. But let me tell you this. You know that I am not a makeup girl, but I know that you are the makeup queen. So I was like, I gotta make sure that I have like a decent natural beat. At least so when she looked at me, my cousin be like, okay.
You know what? A popping lip always works. And smoky eye.
Girl.
Popping lip, smoky eye.
Look, and I have you in here to help me get straight. So, there goes Stacey. Hey, Stacey.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Yeah, so I was the face got to be right because, of course, your face looks fabulous as
Thank
always.
you. Girl, I don't know. Just help a sister. Okay. This is those quarantine bags. Look,
let me tell you, it's so funny. A couple people asked me, "Were you my sister?" And I'm like, they said because she's so pretty, y'all look like. So I took that as a compliment because you're so.
We get that we get that during certain seasons of our life, though, don't we?
Exactly.
And it's like,
and I was like, girl, it's some Knox jeans, like for sure.
Yes. Child, it don't crack. It don't crack.
It don't crack, girl. So yes, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for my show, Still Standing. This show is basically inspired by my forthcoming book, Still Standing, which I'm finally going to be sharing my journey through life, especially as far as my challenges and my triumphs, stories that almost nobody knows about. And so with this show, I'm actually having people on my kindred spirits come on and share their stories of challenge and of triumph. And so a lot of them are related to a lot of my experiences that I'll talk about in my book, but it gives an opportunity for us to inspire people.
That's right.
To let people know that you're not alone. So many of these circumstances, so many of you have been able to identify with and have been able to be inspired, that you see people that look like you or people that may not look like you. That's like, oh, if they made it, I know I can make it. Hey, I'm here. There's nephew on here.
Hey, nephew.
Yes. So I'm so excited to have people on here, and I invite people on here who keep it 100, who keep it real. It's the truth. My guests, I know, are going to give it to you raw and going to get straight, no chaser, because that's life and that's real. Life is straight, no chaser, And the truth is that social media puts us in a position where we are able to paint this beautiful picture and like everything is perfect. And the truth is that it's not always that way. Like I said, today is a day. Because today it was not a good day. It was a hard day.
It was not a good day.
And we're going to talk about it's not a good day for all of us. Everybody's stressing right now. Everybody is literally on pins and needles right now.
It's a lot of tension.
Exactly. So guess what? That right there alone lets you know, I don't care how rich you are, how wealthy you are, how happy you are, how fabulous you are. Everybody right now is in the same position of concern, of worry, of expectancy. All of us. That that levels the playing field for all of us. So I'm Tasia Grant. For those of you who don't know, I know it looks like Tasia, but I promise you it's Tasia. I'm a mother. I am an inspirational speaker. I'm a motivator. I'm a life changer. I'm a person who thrives on positivity. I'm an actress. And, you know, I'm a giver. I love giving and uplifting people. And so this allows me to be able to do this. So today we're going to talk about a tough subject matter. But we're also, hey, Nikki just joined us. Thanks so much for the support, everybody. We're going to talk about a tough subject matter that I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who've experienced this. I know personally a lot of people who have been through this. And we're going to talk about the rough parts. We're also going to talk about coming out of it and making it and being triumphant. So I'm welcome today, my guest, Dr. Tori Knox. She's not my sister, but yes, she's my cousin. She's my family. I'm really blessed to have lots of family members and friends who are, I mean, they fabulous. They have wonderful stories. They have life experiences which are worthy of sharing. And so, yes, she's my family, but she's also just, you'll hear more about her achievements later. But so I want to talk about, let's get right into it, Tori. So lots of us have experienced losing loved ones. You and I both have experienced, of course, losing many of the same loved ones, from our uncle to our cousin to violence. But the thing that makes this hit harder for you is that it was your father, that you lost your father. So before we actually talk about the dark side of it, I want you to tell us, who was your dad? What was his name? What memory do you have of him that you miss most about him? What was
oh my gosh.
Talk about,
can I get some tissues?
Oh, I know, yes. Let's talk about when he was alive. Like
oh my gosh. Well, my dad's name was Anthony Knox. He was known as Tony Knox. And my dad was like, he was like breath, if you want to look, like, if I could say anything, like, he was just a atmosphere changer. You know, he would come into any room and everyone in that room would be impacted by him, you know. And I don't even want to sound formal talking about my dad. Let me just get out of this interview mode, because like literally for us, how we know him, like literally he would walk into a room and light up that room. And he was a stranger. He did not know a stranger. Do you hear me?
Not at all.
Not at all. He was funny. I'm talking about funny to tears. We always had something special, whether we were from his children to our cousins. Like Uncle Tony, Daddy always had something that was special for us. If it was a spoon, my dad could make a spoon fun, okay?
And look, honestly, even if you weren't his child, he made us, the nieces.
Everybody feel this way.
We were his children.
Yes.
I credit to this day my love for National Geographic to your dad.
Came from dad. Yes.
Came from your dad.
All of us. Yes, we all love National Geographic. And it's crazy. Yeah, my kids even love it. And they don't even know. I'm like, why do you love this? And they're like, I know, I just this and that. And I'm like, this is my dad. Like you got him in your DNA. You have to.
And
so he was
so charming. He was so charming.
And handsome.
It's so
and like, oh, just like, I mean, just everything. Life giver. If someone was like, okay, just describe him, he was like a life giver. Because it didn't matter how you felt. Like if I was ever feeling bad, like my dad, he was gonna make us laugh. I had this guinea pig.
He was alive.
Yeah, I had this guinea pig named Muffy. And before he passed away, Muffy, he would come into the house every day after work, right? And be like, hey Muffy, and start like whistling, like, right? Muffy would run around the cage, hitting all up against the cage, and it would start whistling. Like I had never heard an animal. The guinea pig would like, it just started going berserk in the cage. I mean, and he would just come through the door saying, hey Muffy, and start whistling. And so after my dad passed, a week, we went out and left and came back home, and Muffy was dead. A week after my dad died.
What? I never knew
the grief. Yes, Muffy died. Like, it was just like Muffy died.
Well, let me tell you, we experienced an emotional death after your death.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
throughout the entire family.
Really.
He was
Yep.
our mother's very best friend.
Yep. Our parents were best friends. They were siblings, but they were best friends.
They were more than siblings.
Yep.
They were best friends.
And even after my dad passed, my aunt kept that going. Like, my aunt, like, we were her babies.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Even his brother, Uncle Warren, that was his best friend as a guy. And he literally, his world came to an end. So your dad, where your Muffy had a physical death, we experience a death within our family.
So just like a person that is impacting humans and animals to that point. You know, so that was my point of even mentioning Muffy, like the animal, the guinea pig, was impacted by my dad. So that was how strong, if I could say, his life was. He was a strong force, a strong spirit, just powerful, and, you know, a life giver. Like, that was my dad.
So because of that, his just his impact and his aura in our lives, I think that's what made this, and not that it's not traumatic for anyone. Of course, violent and sudden death is traumatic for anyone. But for a person who was just so impactful and so for so many lives, the sudden absence of him.
Well, for me,
how did he die? Can you share that with us? How?
Yeah, so I'm going to talk from my experience, like my age and all of that. So I was 12 years old when my dad died. And if I could paint this picture and this story very clear for those that are watching tonight, you know, you go from life giver and you understand who this person is now just in a little bit of our description. But for me, I literally described it throughout the years as I went to school that morning. My dad was alive, and by the time I came home from school that evening, my dad was gone. So for me, coming home that day from school was like, my whole life really did shift. Me, and I'm sure my siblings as well. That whole day was just dark, if I could like describe it like that. I just remember my uncle coming over, and he would come over, but it was the way he came over, if that makes sense. And so neither one of my parents were home, and he's like, you know, I want to get you guys something to eat or whatever. And so we couldn't even eat our food. So how do children pick this up? You know, like, something's wrong. No one said anything. There was no one there except for us and our Uncle Clayton, you know, who had come over. Actually, this is how strong knit of a family we were. We all grew up in the same neighborhood. Like, my uncle and my cousins were our neighbors. So my uncle came over, and he's trying to feed us food. And so you could sit there, and I just remember feeling this anxiety. And I remember feeling like I'm just not hungry. And so we had, every kid loves McDonald's, right? So he went and got us McDonald's and got us the Happy Meals, and we had the toys, which we will always flip over. That night, all of our Happy Meals just sat there, and I could just feel something was wrong, and I kept asking. And I thought I was making him angry, but I kept saying, well, where's my daddy? You know, where's my mom? Where's my dad? Where's my mom? And I remember him telling me, like, not don't ask me again, but like, they're coming. Just don't ask me. I don't know. They're coming. And so you could just
about it. He was grieving too. So he was
grieving too. But having to hold a secret at the same time, you know, was crazy. So my dad was killed. He was murdered. He was shot, and he died by gun violence. And so it wasn't one of those things where you have a sick parent and you get to say goodbye or spend time with them or say I love you or any of those things. It's like they're there, then they're gone. You know what I mean? And so as a 12, well, you want to ask me something?
No, I remember you telling me this story, Tori. I want you to share. I feel like you told me about how, like, you and Peaches, like, that night was storming or something.
Yes.
You tell me y'all kind of felt, hey, Angel, hey, Sora.
So So yeah, that night, well, it didn't start raining until like after my uncle came and the food came, and it was like this huge storm or whatever. It was like raining. So like I was saying, I described it as dark because it just felt eerie. You know, you could feel the grief, not even knowing. You know, and me and my sister and my little brother, my younger brother Tony, Josh, my other brother Josh wasn't born as of yet. So at the time, my mom was pregnant with my youngest brother Josh. So he wasn't even here yet. So she was 6 months pregnant with my brother Joshua. So you got to think, you know, we had the excitement that there was a baby on the way in our household, right? My parents, for those who don't know, my parents were formally divorced 6 months before, and they got remarried. And so that we had like all this joy in our household, all the way up and through to this month, because our parents had gotten back together, you know, after going through divorce and being separated all that time. So it was just kind of like, I don't know. It was very, very strange. It's like one of those stories. It's like, how does something like this happen? But long story short, that night it was raining, it was storming. And I just remember when my mom finally walked through the door, looking at her face, you know, we're just not even saying anything. We just ran up and started hugging her. And I think after a while, me and my sister started whispering, and we started to debate, like, is it mommy or is it daddy? You know, something's wrong. Is it mommy? So we didn't know which one of our parents were hurt or what was wrong, but something was wrong because neither of our parents were home. And that never happened to us. Like, our parents never left us like that at home through nighttime and dinner, because dinner was like our thing. Right. You know, my parents cooked together and we sat down, and we always had like a table dinner, with our parents. And so neither one of them were there. And so we were debating, like whispering, like, is it mommy or daddy? And so my sister was a little more quiet than I was. So I just kept asking my uncle. And so my mom walks through the door, and I'm around it kind of quick, but my mom walks through the door, and we knew immediately, like, where's daddy? So that's what we said first. And we all was like hugging her, and they brought us in the living room or whatever. And that was when she just said, she was like, come here, guys. And she hugged us, and she was like, your dad died tonight. Like, your dad died. And like, my sister ran outside, and like, me and my sister was extremely close. So like, she ran outside in the rain and like literally dropped to her knees in the rain. And my sister was just screaming, and it's like pouring down rain. My mom is in the house and she's crying. My mom is literally showing pregnant. You know what I'm saying? And so I run outside to my sister, and I just start hugging her in the rain. And I was like, please, Peaches, get up. Because then that was scaring me, you know, like looking at her, like my sister was breaking.
The younger sister. Tori's the bigger sister, but she had to find some strength to console her older sister. This is
yes. I went outside, and like, I just got down, and I was like, Peaches, get up, like trying to help her get up, like, please stop, get up. And she just was out in the rain. She ran out the door, and literally, like, she collapsed to the ground, like no strength in her body. My sister collapsed to the ground. And so after things settled, my other uncle, my mom's brother, came and picked us up. And I'll never forget, like, they had an empty room in their house, and I will never forget this moment. So that morning, in my uncle's room, we were laying on the floor, and I remember that there was this window on the right-hand side that had all this sunlight coming in, and it was just like shining down. We were laying on the floor with my mom. My mom was on the floor, and she had all of us surrounded around her, laying under her. And I'll never forget, we looked at her and we said, Mommy, Daddy died. Like, we just couldn't believe it. And we just all started crying. And she was like, I know, baby. And we just started talking and crying. And we had the opportunity to really just let it sink in, like, Daddy died yesterday. And it was just one of those moments that didn't feel real, you know. And so that was where it kind of all began. Now, mind you, this might be strange. Well, it might be strange and it might not. You know, this is the month that he passed away.
Oh my God.
We're in November because remember we buried him a week.
Right near on
A
Jackie's
few days
birthday.
before Thanksgiving. Yeah, we buried him a few days before Thanksgiving. Remember? And
Yes,
so he died
because
at
he
the week
passed
after his
on his
birthday.
sister's birthday.
Yep.
On Jackie's birthday is coming up. You know what?
Yep.
When we scheduled this and picked this day, Tori, I did not even realize
You
that.
didn't know. And I was like, I don't
Yes,
know if you
so
know.
thank you.
Right. You know his birthday is November 9th.
Yeah, girl.
Yeah.
Woo!
My dad's birthday is November 9th. So this is like truly a divine moment. Like you were supposed to do this. And so this is actually a test for me too, because I talk about it in like little increments or spurts or one-on-one to somebody if I know it's going to help them or minister to them or whatever, but not like this. You get what I mean?
This is celebration and
Yeah.
honoring his birthday.
Yeah.
We're honoring you.
Yeah.
Your birthday, Uncle Tony. Look at
Yeah.
God. Look at God.
November 9th is my daddy's birthday. Yeah.
Look at God.
And so this month was always hard for me. And I know that's probably kind of where we're headed. Like, you know.
Yeah, what I want to ask you is that, like, so how long did it take you to, first of all, like really accept it, and then to find peace with it, and then listen, or even happy you, and if you have found some semblance of peace, how did you get there? Like, what did it take? Like, how did you do it?
I will say this. I lived my life in trauma all the way up until 2016. And so I had to do what I call do my own work. Because what I found was I dealt with so much anger. I dealt with distrust. I dealt with a lot of rage, built up, bottled up.
Yeah, I want to ask you, were you angry with God? Did you ask God why like this? Were you mad?
I wasn't angry with God. I think I was angry with my dad. My dad was, and I was angry with him because of the choices that he made. And I felt I was from the grave where, blaming him, and I had resentment toward my father, and he was gone.
Yeah.
All right. And so it was like, you did this to us and you caused us pain, and Josh grew up without a father. So look at the level of unforgiveness toward a person that died. They're dead.
I get that.
So that is a level of, there was a level of, and I've been talking about PTSD because we don't understand and know how trauma affects us. And I'll relay this to all of us as a family that are on here, and those that might watch where you have lost someone, there's been trauma, I mean, we know within our culture and within our community, Black community, we suffer a lot of death. And a lot of times that death does not get healed or remedied. And so there's so many people that deal with PTSD and they don't even know it. I looked at myself and I realized I was dealing with a deep-rooted trauma. I mean, I went through, lack of stability, and that's because my mentality wasn't stable. I had bad relationships, broken relationships, and all of it, once I started to do my work, I went through this thing that I did for myself. It was called Journey to Love. And it was a 3-year journey. It was 3 years. And I was like, look, I done had some marriages. I done let the wrong people pick me. I messed up. I feel like I was just ripping up my life, right? Like, what am I doing? But that was the thing. What am I doing? I really wasn't conscious of what I was doing because pain was leading me. Grief was leading me. Unforgiveness was leading me. Hurt was leading me. Betrayal, the feelings of betrayal was leading me. And I was actually attracting the things that was leading me. I always say you attract what you are, right? So I was attracting deceitful people. I was attracting, hurt people. I was attracting other people in pain. I was attracting people who was just as scattered as I was, right? So you attract what you are. Kind beget kind. And so you wonder, oh, you know, why is he like this and this person's like that and we're doing like this? But mine was like, wait a minute, Journey to Love was like, turn the mirror toward you.
Yes.
And I had to expose me to me. I had to expose me to me. I didn't need to expose nobody else and say so-and-so was a mess. So my hurt and pain and all the issues with relationships, lack of stability, accountability for myself, the anger, the way that I would treat people. I was always with the block up. I always had guards up. Only certain people I would let in, like my Aunt Susan. She would probably be about the only, and my oldest son, that I would really let in. That was it. Like, she was the only one that would really have a sincere, in my mind, a sincere, it's okay, baby.
But you know why? Because she had dealt with her own share of trauma. And I feel like she came from a place being able to identify you.
She did.
And you knew it was no judgment. And you
no judgment.
Understood. And what's deep, Tori, is that you're able to look back and tie that into your dad.
I know.
Like,
I know.
far back.
That was the root. So I had to go back. I always tell people, it's like the insurance adjuster, right? This is like a little metaphor. Like, it's like the insurance adjuster, right? You have a car accident. And the insurance adjuster, they got to go back to the scene of the accident to find out what happened, right? What was the cause of the accident? So sometimes you got to go back in order to go forward. You don't make a monument there. You don't stay there. You don't make a monument there, because some people go back and they stay there and they're in the past. And that's why they use words like, I just remember, and I'm tired of, you know, people always, when they say always, that's the past. You know, because they're looking at a track record from what was before. So it's like that insurance adjuster that has to go back to the scene of the accident to say, this is where the trauma began. Because if I don't go back, I cannot go forward. Yes. I cannot. I can only go but so far. And so that was what was happening to me. I was doing work, successful things, but inside I was torn up. Why? I had not forgiven my dead daddy. So I'm trying to have relationships with people and men, right? And I couldn't because I have resentment towards the one that the first man I ever knew. I would go over any other man, and I got resentment towards the first man I ever knew, right? Woo.
No, it's okay, girl. That's why I have you on here. Because you're
real.
So this is real.
I have to say, there was a point around 2015, 2016 where I was like, I am so sick of me. I'm not sick of people. Ain't nobody doing nothing to me. I don't have no problems with nobody, right? You know how you get like, I'm not even thinking about you, boo. Yes. I'm not thinking about you. I don't have no problems with you. Like, people was trying to find something. It was like, if you only knew. Like, I'm sick of me. I'm in my own world. I don't even need you to talk about me.
Girl, you got to make
my own self, right? So I had to do my own work. And I was like, I'm so sick of me around 2015. And I was like, I'm about to go on a journey to love. And so the journey to love was the one thing that was like, first I had to get the insurance adjuster to find out what's my problem. If you don't know what's your problem, not everybody else's problem, not the men who cheated on you, not what you lost, the houses, the failed business, none of the stuff, right? It's like, what's wrong with me? And so that's where I learned kind beget kind. You attract what you are. I had to make a list like, these are my real issues. And one by one, I had to pluck off my issues. I had to pluck my own self off, you know, and I had to cut off some things that were supposed to be labeled as Tori, but that was not Tori. That was not my identification. Tori was before, was like before the death, before daddy's death. So the 12-year-old girl, I had to get back to her. And I had to get back to that level of fear because I was so afraid from that night. I hated when it rained. I went through depression, deep depression every November, and I never could trace it back to why, right? I never did. I never connected the dots to say, man, every November I get depressed. Every November, I don't even want to celebrate Thanksgiving, but I do it, and it's more painful than enjoyment, even though I'm around family, right? So it would start raining any time of the year, and I would go into depression on the days that it rained because I was correlating the elements that were going on outside with the trauma that happened that night.
And let me tell you something. How about as close as we were to you, we never knew you were going through this. We never knew that this was happening inside of you. All we saw was you're having fun with family. You're surrounded by family. We weren't aware of the trauma that you were going through internally.
No, I went through alcoholism in my 20s. I was reckless. Like, I was this reckless young woman. And so I tracked everything. Once I went through the journey to love, the first year was I had to go back, and I had to go back. Everything was dealing with what happened before, which led me to, okay, the bad relationships, or what led me to the things that I felt like people, you know, I just was like, I was so, how can I put it? I was so in the mindset that I almost hated myself, because I started to believe what people said about me, which what they were saying about me were only the results of the trauma that I had experienced, my unresolved issues. So if it was like Tori this and Tori that, and Tori needed so-and-so, and Tori needed that, oh, and Tori another time, and Tori, and I was like, I started to feel like, why people always got my name in their mouth? You know, like that DC street, like, get my name out your mouth. You know, because remember, I got anger from my dad, so trust, you know, at any time, look, Agent, no, I be ready to pop off on folks.
Exactly.
Because
like Tori will love on you, she'll tell you about the Lord, but don't. But I
fight. Look, try Jesus, don't try me, because I throw hands. That's
exactly.
I throw hands. And so my first resolve for everything was a fight, you know, and that's because I was always in a combative mode, trying to defend the dysfunction, or trying to defend how I felt, or trying to defend. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying to all of this is that the trauma from my dad's death did more to me in a negative way than what I accounted for. And that's what I want to tell the people that are going to view this broadcast tonight, this show, is that you might have to pause, you know, just take a pause, hit the pause button on your life for a second, and go back and start to retrace and retract the traumas that you went through. Because people can tell you all day long, like, oh, you talk about this again? You know, you saying this again, like, and it's like, I have to find a way. I gotta deal with it. I gotta get it out of me, because it's destroying my life. It's destroying my life. You know, you might be over it, and that's cool. That's cool if you're over it, but I'm not. You know, and so after a while, during my 3 years, after my journey to love, after that first year, I found out it was daddy. Once I found out it was daddy, that was when it got ugly, you know, because I had to get all that junk out of me. So I went through a lot of crying. I spent a lot of time alone. I had to cut off some folks. I had to cut off some people, and I had to just do my work. And that's why I want to tell some people viewing tonight as well, don't feel bad about doing your work. Don't feel bad about your process through grief. Because people don't understand and know. You got to understand, even as women, we have the superhuman element embedded in us. Right? And we're born that way. We're a wombed man. We're a wombed man. So we have sometimes strength of men, you know, and the power of woman at the same time. And so it's easy for us to have the strong mentality and just move on. The strong Black woman kicks in, and then before you know it, we got stuff that's hurting us. We got stuff we're dealing with, but I ain't got time to be focusing on that, because so-and-so needs me. The children need me. If I don't work and pay these bills, it ain't gonna get done. If I don't do it, nobody else gonna do it. And so we kick into that mode, and life goes on. But at some point, that thing is gonna lie dormant, and it's gonna raise its head, and it's going to say, listen, I'm still here. It's going to show up in some way, either through the drinking, the sexing, something is going to come up. And so for me, mine came up. It was just literally like vomit, no joke.
Also, I want to say that it's really important. I want to communicate to everybody out there. You know, I was there, part of it, not the whole time, part of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, we have to humble ourselves. Like humility, when I say I watched this woman this is a very humbling process.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very humbling process. Like, do this process, pride will be your destroyer. Pride will destroy you. It is such a humbling process. You have to be able to literally, like she said, look at yourself and admit. You have to take accountability. You have to take ownership for some of this. And then also, you have to be willing to accept help, to share that you're grieving, to share that you're hurting. Part of the problem in our community why we don't seek help in therapy is because we got too much pride. We can't humble ourselves to admit that we're hurting. We can't humble ourselves to admit that we don't have it all together. We can't humble ourselves to admit that, you know what, we're not dealing. We're not coping. I'm not able.
I'm not okay.
You know that saying, checking your strong friends? We're so used to being the strong friend sometimes that it's hard to admit we're not the strong friend and that we need. And so if you don't look at this and see her, you know, it's interesting. You said your journey to love, Tori. The subtitle to my book is Still Standing, My Journey to Restoration.
Wow.
Restoration. It was my journey to liberation. And I said, no, I'm still not free all the way.
Right.
The process of restoring. Restoration. Because it's a process.
It's a process.
What was diminished? What was taken away? We're trying to restore what God gave us already. Come on. You're restoring what God gave you already. And I mean, I'm literally like, thank you, God. Thank you, God, cousin, for having bring you on here. Because I feel like you are speaking. I mean, people have been literally just engaging because they're like, oh my God, like you speaking to everybody. And
I'm telling you, PTSD is real.
Tori. Thank you for being transparent.
Thank you, girl. But I had to go here.
So I'm going to share. Unfortunately, IG gets on my nerves because I don't want them to cut it off. Because when I share with you guys where she is and where she's grown to, see, I want you to know. I want you to hear this because I want you to see that yes, this woman who is at this level has all these wonderful things going on for her. What did she just tell y'all? Just 2016, just recently, just 3-4 years ago.
Wow.
It was a different story. She was just figuring this out. From 12 years old.
You were a help to me throughout this process. I mean, you've opened your doors to me a few times
because I went to that. And
was like,
you know, mama, because guess what? My mama, we lived in people's basements.
Man,
we lived with people. We shared beds, all of us. Mommy had to humble herself. And so guess what?
Not once did you ever turn me away in my pain. But listen to this, guys. In my pain, there was no view of being fixed or nothing. It was like, well, what is it? You know, and you never judged me. You never was like, oh, you can get yourself together. You know, you never said that, like, get it together. You know, you never did me like that, ever.
Because that's what family does. That's what we do. I love it.
Uncle Clayton is on here. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry.
Who's on here?
Uncle Clayton is on here. You are part of the story tonight.
Our uncle who came that night.
Who came that night and bought
her daddy who came and bought her at McDonald's.
My uncle is on this side.
And this is what I can say to you. The reason why I ain't turn my back on you is because when you hurt, I hurt.
Yeah, but you would cry with me.
I go
Yeah.
through. When
you would cry with me.
I cry. It does no good for us to be doing great and glorious and on this high and not experiencing pain when those we love and care about are experiencing pain.
Yeah.
And I've been there.
Yeah.
Not having lost my father, but I also experienced a lot of trauma myself. That, Tori, to your point, I'm literally at almost 50 years old, just facing some of my demons. It's something that happened to me as a child. My own sister, who's my best friend, who knows every single thing about me. I literally just told her this year.
What happened? Year.
And again, so like you said, we bury stuff.
We bury.
And we carry these burdens and not feeling like, we feel like we don't know when we're ready. And so it's a process.
Oh, that's good.
Like we're at the point where we're ready to face the strife. And it took
be patient with people, guys. Be patient.
To be able to, and I'm just at 50. I feel safe to share with the world, regardless of judgment. I don't care. I'm finally, almost 50, at the point where I'm like, this is my
Strong J. Look, Strong J. Strong J.
And guess what? And that's why I was new. I said, you know what? I asked Tori, I said, is there anything, off the table? Because I'm like, I want us to be transparent, because this is what reaches people, and them knowing the real. So, so what I want to do is I really want to make sure I don't want this to get cut off, because God has blessed you. You are making it through so many wonderful things. Uncle Tony, yes, we know that there are issues, things that we feel like, your absence caused so much strife in Tori and your children's life. However, somehow Tori made it through, and you got to be looking down proud of your girl. Just shining your light on her. That light that you used to bring into the room, she got it. Tori got that. Tori does the same thing. I don't care what room she enters. Tori lights it up. She's a light. Girl, you got that honest from your daddy. You, first of all, look just like your daddy. You have the charm just like your daddy. You have the good looks like your daddy. You have the savvy like your daddy. But you also have the heart and the giving spirit like your daddy. And you're a light. And so, y'all, let me tell you something. One of the things that impressed me most about Tori is she shared with you guys how, she stayed with me, and she's been through, you and I know, you've been through relationship woes, you financial woes, just like I have, struggles, struggling. But guess what? Me and Asia talked about in our interview, we talked about superpowers.
Hold on, I feel like I want to interject this, but guess what? I'm still standing.
I was getting ready to say, your superpower is resilience. Your superpower is resilience. Tori, you are the most resilient person I know. And one thing about Tori, y'all have to understand is, not only does this girl not give up, let me tell you something. She has had a million ideas. She said, okay, I'm gonna start this. She's a master. She thinks of wonderful things, and Tori will execute that joker and keep it moving. Okay, if that ain't working, ain't getting where I want to go, I got this. Keep it moving. She does not care. And you know what else I love about her too? She does not care what you think, in the sense of, this is my life. Either you with me or you not.
Come on, you know it.
May be like, okay, maybe you were there through my failed relationship or my failed this, but guess what? I'm in a new one. I got a new love, and guess what? You with me or you not?
Either you with me or you not. You just articulated that.
Girl, the world needs that, because everybody's so worried about what other people gonna think, What other people gonna do, they let it dictate
Yes.
their actions. Tori does what she wants to do. And again, are you gonna ride or you not? But guess what? In the same way, she ride it out with you too. She gonna uplift you too. She gonna help help you succeed in what you do. So I mean, right now, I know you have a wonderful brand new love. He is very supportive of your endeavors.
Yes.
She's about to tell us about her nonprofit organization. She has a consulting firm. And let me tell y'all, she's about to have a product release on Walmart.com. Let me tell you, does this sound like somebody? Like the person she just described?
Wow.
It is the same person, but God saw her through, and she's giving a testimony on that's the same person doing all those things I named. So tell us about what you're doing, boo. Tell us about the glory.
Oh my gosh. Well, I love it. Y'all know after COVID-19, we all had to like revamp, okay?
Yes.
And I'm in the new normal, so everything feels good. But yes, I just continue with my company. My company name is called Posh. We do have a nonprofit. It's called the Posh Institute. It's the Entrepreneurial Leadership Academy for girls, teens, and women. We teach young women and girls about business, entrepreneurship, you know, how to secure the bag, if you say, you know, for themselves, and just teaching them how to be innovative and not just independent, but also able to go out into the community and really understand what our position is as a woman in the lives of, you know, society, in the life of society. But that's the Posh Institute. But now I started a new company. It's called Posh Skin. And it derived from being a multicultural product. And I was like, I really want something, whether you light skin, dark skin, you know, Indian skin, whatever it is, light skin, medium skin, dark skin, you know, fair skin. I wanted a product that was multicultural, that was for all women. So it is a hemp product. I know you guys may not be familiar with CBD or hemp, but it is all about beauty inside out. And so I've been in cosmetics for over 15 years, decided to revamp this company. I wanted something other than just makeup. You know, we could beat the face. You know, Tasia, she's gorgeous. You know, all my cousins, all of us, all of y'all are beautiful, but it's just not about the outer beauty. So we wanted something that was literally going to make you feel great inside, literally help you with, you know, hemp products that make you feel great inside. So it's called Posh Skin. It's going to be Walmart.com. November 15th is my official launch where you can go on Walmart.com, shop the product, buy it. Yeah.
Tell me about your life design. I know that you're doing lifestyle design.
Yes.
About that.
Yes, so I revamped my company, and now I know you guys have heard of mentors, coaches, all those great things. Well, I've been given something called being a life designer. And as a life designer, it kind of brings all the different elements to what I do, really helping to impact and design people's lives, homes, and businesses inside out. And so it's like mentor in coaching for people, yes, but also I do interior design for homes and businesses, and it's amazing. It's awesome. And so I feel like
where can they find you? If people want to, you know, have your services for life design, where can we find you?
They can find me at the Posh Firm. It is a consulting agency. So if you go on Facebook, right now I'm just on Facebook, but if you go on Facebook, you can look up the Posh Firm, and that's where you can find me, and that's where you can, you know, secure our services. We have so many different great plans and ways to book me. You know, we're affordable ways to book me. But yes, we're the Posh Firm. We're on Facebook. Also, Posh Skin is on Facebook as well. And we're about to do
tell me what the names of the products are again, so they can look it up on Walmart and buy it and support it, everyone.
Yes, so if you pull up hemp oil or hemp, HEMP beauty, or just put in Posh Skin, if you put that in the search bar, our products come right up. Okay, and so that's how you can find us, right there on Walmart.com on November the 15th.
I see. Elijah! Okay, let me tell you. Elijah,
okay.
He was my hairstylist on many of my sets for Saints and Sinners. Elijah,
yes.
Tori, I know you like a
look, Elijah.
He will beat that hair. You hear me? He is the
Oh yes, I'm gonna need him.
So
I
Elijah,
need
you
him
gotta
to
hook up with
too.
my cousin Tori, Posh Beauty, because he does that. You hear me? I mean, oh my gosh, like y'all, yes, Elijah, you right. Because let me tell you, Tori will kill any hair.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Tasha.
She'll kill it. Okay, so guys, please support Tori, please, everyone. She's amazing.
Thank
you all have to have been so inspired by her story. Listen, this is my cousin. This is my sister. And I have to say, guys, she's technically my cousin, but she's really my sister. Like we were raised as sisters.
We were raised as sisters.
We were raised as sisters.
We call each other sister cousins.
Yeah, sister cousins, because let me tell you, I learned something new tonight, even about Tori. But goes to show you that check on your friends, check on your strong friends, because guess what? Sometimes there's things we don't know. What we see outside the shell and all the wonderful stuff that we see, there's so much sometimes going on behind the scenes. Yeah. On behind all this. So dig deeper. If you feel like something ain't right, dig deeper, guys. Dig deeper. And let me tell you, don't be shy. If you have something going on, if you are not just for yourself, speak up. Ask for help. Talk about it. Let's deal with it. You don't have to. Guess what? This whole facade, really, people want to know the real. They want to know what's really going on with you.
Strong is overrated.
It's overrated. So typically I do a quick little game, but I did want to say this to everyone. First of all, so I have a saying that, we learned that, imagine with faith the size of a mustard seed. It will bring magnificent things. What will doubt the size of a mustard seed do? Replace that doubt with faith. Yes. Let that grow. Let that grow. Let that seed of doubt replace it with faith. Because do you see where it's manifested itself in Tori? Do you see where that doubt was festering? Where that doubt was growing? As she was growing up, it was doubted. What people were saying about her was festering and growing. Yeah. Look when she replaced that doubt with faith. The size of a mustard seed, faith, this size. Look what it has grown into. Look what it has grown into. Look at the magnificence it has grown into. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. This is amazing. I am so grateful for you. I love you so much.
I love you so much. Thank you.
Please, everyone, share this. Not just for those who experience loss of a loved one. Yeah. You know someone who's experiencing grief in any capacity, PTSD in any capacity. Share this with them. Let them see, because there's so many nuggets in here. So many nuggets, so many good words that I feel like there's somebody out here who needs to hear it. So, Tori, blessings to you.
Thank you. I love you.
For you. I love you so much. Thank you, Uncle Clayton. We love you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
If we missed y'all, not anybody, I saw Dawn on here, Dawn Kelly on here. Of course, I saw Leah on here. Saw cousin Leah on here. Yes. Thank you, everybody who supports us and joins us. Next week, we're going to have Tammy McGarity. Tammy McGarity is going to be on here talking about surviving a traumatic experience, a life-changing experience. She's going to talk about an injury which actually changed her life. So join us next week, every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. on my IG Live.
Bye.